Please make some love for Nat Mundell, everyone.
Welcome, everyone. I cannot begin to express how much gratitude I feel being here tonight. And I want to express it this way. In 2017, we had a gala similar to this. We did our first fundraise. We had our first investor gala. My experience at that gala was incredibly different than this gala. And it came to me just now why. At that point, Voyage was a dream. And dream states, you guys have all had them. Some of you have stories that were inspired by dreams. Dream states are ethereal, they're hard to pin down. My experience at that gala, it was a wonderful gala. My experience at that gala, I don't remember a lot of it. My experience at this gala is I have almost connected with every single person, and it feels real to me. And I'm present and grounded. And I think it's because that's where Voyage is 3 years later. It's happening. We've made it work. We've produced 7 movies and shows since that first funding. Every single one of those movies and shows came from people completely outside the industry, without any major publisher, without any big bestseller, without agent, without Steven Spielberg as an uncle. And it's actually come true, and I think I'm out of the dream state now, and therefore in reality with each of you here as part of our family of investors. And I want to express a lot of gratitude for you for making this possible. Thank you very much. Now, what are we making possible? This evening is actually a microcosm, and it's incredible. What happens when we put a bunch of people from outside the Hollywood system into a room with a bunch of people inside the Hollywood system, and what happens? Well, what happens, it's been happening all night. Sparks of inspiration have been happening. Connections have been made. Projects that were in their dream state now have a path to becoming real. I've seen it no fewer than 5 times tonight, and that's just me. Who else has been seeing that happening in this room tonight? Raise your hand. Incredible. And that's what this is about. And it works. And we've been hard at work, and I'm gonna just make sure I don't miss anything here, so just give me a second. I want to acknowledge the hard work that goes into building this enterprise. It is an audacious thing to endeavor to accomplish in a very old traditional industry in which there are some uber giants with lots of money that we're trying to change the face of it and make it friendlier and make it accessible. It's an audacious thing to try to do, and it requires a lot of hard work. Like literally, roll up your sleeves every day, hard work. And I want to acknowledge our team for their hard work. I'm going to acknowledge first Elizabeth Upton. She's been at my side at Voyage for, I think, about 7 years, almost from the very, very start. I want to acknowledge our, and I'll introduce him later, but Robert Midas, our new head of originals. to my right. I want to acknowledge Richard Lister. Is Richard in the room? If so, raise your hand. Okay. Richard Chaplin Lister in the back is our creative executive and project manager, and he is supported by an incredible team of, where's Sabrina? Right here. Thank you, Sabrina. She's the face of where people start in the program at Voyage, in the incubator that is Voyage. And she deals with, I'll give you an idea of, this is a cool part of our company, is I hope each of you feels like a special individual as you're moving through the process. On her plate today, not this year, today there are 177 people starting their journey today. And I'll get to why that matters in a second. She hands off projects when they move further into the program to Georgina, I think also in the back. And she shepherds them through together with Richard and Elizabeth and all of us working together towards their potential of originals that I mentioned Robert is at the helm of. In the back is Caitlin as well. Caitlin helps, actually the better word, Caitlin drags you kicking and screaming through all of your resistances as to whether or not you should join this crazy thing called Voyage. She helps you along that process, and she supports me by bringing a lot of people into this company so that they do have a fair shot at getting their stories told on screen. So greatly appreciate the work that Caitlin does. She's supported by our newest team member, Lauren, who's not here tonight, but we'll acknowledge Lauren. And then Rob Bowman is in the room tonight. Robin is one of the originals. Rob was with us many, many years ago, and one thing that if you speak to Rob, you'll learn about Voyage is that we run a tight ship, and being an employee at Voyage is a boot camp. And Rob has flown the coop about a couple of years ago, and he said to me today, he's like, when I left Voyage and I started working at another company, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. It was so easy. And that was an expression of gratitude, and it landed for me because, yeah, we run a tight ship and we have a lot of expectations. It's the only way we can actually do what we do, because it is audacious. I also want to acknowledge if all of the producers, the Voyage producers, can raise their hands and make yourself seen. It's incredible that these people have made themselves available. When we started this thing about 7 years ago, we interviewed producers. Each producer that we brought onto the platform at the time went through approximately 6 hours of interviews. Not because we were trying to figure out if they had a track record. That was on paper. That's the easy part. Not the easy part, but what we were looking for was integrity, resourcefulness, compassion, a legitimate desire to help others. So we built our original group of 8 from there. And then we relied on those 8 to introduce us to their friends. And we built this incredible team of about 50 producers from that original 8. And each one of these people is an extraordinary person and a great producer. So I want to acknowledge the work they do with all of you. Except for John. So I want to share, I spend a lot of time in the esoteric, but I want to get real and practical for a second and tell you what we're building and why we're building it, okay? A demand for original content and original programming is up 500% since 2014. And that is not shifting market share from the streaming platform, or from the networks to the streaming platforms, or from the theaters to online. It's actually new growth, new demand for original programming. We believe that the studio and agency systems, the old Hollywood, cannot actually deliver efficiently at scale the amount of stories needed to fuel that beast, okay? They have a place, but there is a future where somebody needs to deliver efficiently and effectively to that demand, and a lot of that demand is measurable today. It never was measurable before because of digital technology and because of digital measurement. Voyage delivers at scale and efficiently a volume of high-quality programming to meet that growing demand. That's what we're building. I want to put it to you like this, why it counts, or why I know it counts, because it's not me. About 3 years ago, I took meetings with 3 of the top 5 agencies, talent agencies in town. I took meetings with all these production companies and studios that have been making movies and shows for years. They all said more or less the same thing, which is, huh? You can't do that. And then I took meetings with YouTube, Google, Apple, Netflix, Facebook, and they all said more or less the same thing. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. You're about 3 years ahead of something we're working on. Now, I'm gonna go with them. Are you with me? We have been blessed with your investment. It's how we fuel growth. Now, we're a smart, very efficient, well-run company. We do not burn a lot of cash. Okay, those of you who are at Ignite, at the location across the street is WeWork, right? If any of you pay attention to the news or venture capital news, WeWork is in the news a lot, right? Burning capital, just burning cash. That's not our deal. We are a company that uses every dollar wisely. There's a funny thing that happened today. Some of our team brought these beautiful flowers to Ignite to welcome people and make the space look great. And then halfway through the day, I went into what's called the green room where we all hang out while everyone's doing their workshop. And 3 or 4 of our team were there clipping flowers and putting them from a big vase into little vases. And you can see those little vases all around the room right here. And I was like, that's really proof positive of how cheap we are. I know. And as investors, I think you should be thankful for that. We're very efficient, okay? We have an audacious undertaking. It does require capital to increase the speed with which we can accomplish what we're already accomplishing. We need additional capital. We want additional capital. And we want you to look inside yourselves and see if you can double down on your investment, if you believe in what we're up to and you want to be a part of that moving forward in a bigger way. Now, there's a couple of incentives that we offer to investing. You guys have all been to the WeFunder portal. They're listed there, but I want to share two in particular because we're going to make a little tweak to those here tonight. Those two investment incentives are at the $25,000 level and the $100,000 level. The way they're phrased is that for $25,000, we're going to write your story as a professional level screenplay, and we're going to take it to market. The $100,000 level is we're going to do all of that. We're also going to do financial pro formas and business planning strategy and casting and really get your film through its paces and in the doors of our financing partners. Now, the tweak that I'm going to make tonight is that if you don't have a story that for which that's relevant, or you're not ready, but you want to jump in deeper with Voyage, we're going to bring you into some of our existing projects. So if you want to make a stock acquisition at $25,000 or $100,000, we're going to bring you into either associate producer level or executive producer level. We're going to use a portion of your investment to further develop some of the very exciting projects that we have on our platform. For example, 500 Miles to Nowhere, The Legend of Bass Reeves, the first Black American sheriff in the West. It's being produced alongside Sean Reddick and his wife, who were here earlier tonight. I think they've left. Some of you probably didn't know they were here, and you'll probably sigh when I tell you they won Oscars for Black Klansman and Get Out. And we're producing 500 Miles to Nowhere alongside them. Alive Day, a true story of a special ops war veteran who is falsely accused. Actually, I just gave away the ending. Yeah. Who's accused of killing his entire crew. Okay? It's an incredible story. We have Upon a Field of Gold being produced by Robert Midas. We have actually Nicholas Applegate's project that's going to be coming to bear shortly. There's a bunch of you in the room that we're working with on your own stories, but we've got about 25 projects. And so, again, if you don't want to have that investment go towards your project, we will apply it to one of the existing originals, and we'll bring you along together with us on an associate producing or executive producing journey, and we're going to make those dreams a reality. And we're going to continue to do that under the supervision of somebody that I'm going to introduce you to now and give the floor to our new head of originals, Robert Midas. Robert is a couple of things. He's got an incredible track record like all the producers do at Voyage. He ran Michael Douglas's company. He's produced a bunch of movies. He's got a spin-off of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest coming onto Netflix. It's called Ratched, about Nurse Ratched. And they've already ordered 2 full seasons on Netflix, so that'll be coming on shortly. In addition to that, he's a great man. He's a great father. Like me, he's on a board of a school. He's a family man. We're almost what Robert and I share, which is actually my greatest gift as a person, is the ability to spot quickly something in a story that if it were tweaked with some different direction and set on a course in a direction that project can now have real potential. He's super quick at doing it. It's something I've seen him do time and time again. And I want to acknowledge both the man and the producer, Robert Midas, and welcome him to the floor. If any of you are interested in taking me up on that funding challenge, come see me. We'll set up a time to talk further. But in the meantime, please welcome Robert Midas.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you, everybody. Hi, good evening. I love telling stories. I've always loved telling stories. I've loved movies. I've loved digesting anything that's on the screen. But over time, I discovered that, well, I believe this is true. I believe that everybody has a story. You know, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story where they've come from or something they've experienced, or maybe something in their imagination that they want to share with the world. I really do believe that. And the objective is to help people find their voice, you know, because you may not know where to begin, or it may be daunting, or it may be intimidating, or you don't know where to start, or there's just too much, but you don't know how to begin. And that's what I love about this company and what we've been doing at Voyage, is helping people find their voices and having and building a platform where they have an opportunity to share their story, their passion, their vision with the world. And I gotta say, that was confirmed today. I had a great time at the workshops today for those of you that were with us. And I saw a lot of light bulbs go off. And I think we shared a lot of common moments. I think we all admitted that, yes, we do have voices in our heads, right? That was a moment, you know. We're all not crazy. We might be crazy, a little bit crazy, but not crazy. Yeah, when I was introduced to Voyage earlier this year, I came on as a producer and as a consultant, and I started meeting with some of the clients, and maybe it is a gift, but yeah, like Nat said, I heard a couple things. Oh, that's interesting. If we just did this, that might have a path to success. And that's something that I learned in all the years that I worked in development and production, was before you go off on this wild, crazy ride, you gotta make sure that you kind of have like an end goal in mind, because it's a roller coaster, but you always gotta figure out, before I put in all this work and labor, does this really have a chance of success? And I found a couple of those projects with Voyage, and I've had a great time working with the clients and working with the writers, some really talented writers on staff. And then Nat was like, would you like to take on this position of head of originals? And I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Now, honestly, it sounds like a lot of fun. Working with all these people and making their stories and their visions come true. That sounds exciting. And it gives me a bigger sort of sandbox to play in, you know, with the goal of getting things produced. Because we can sit here and we can develop and we can talk and we can share our dreams, but at the end of the day, we all have a common goal. We want to see it on the screen. And that's really my responsibility, is to help the producers and the clients and the writers, everybody get to that end goal. And, you know, Nat is at the 30,000 foot level with these strategic plans, and then I'm trying to like tactically, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And I think we got a lot of really great, we'll call them pipelines. Voyage is creating partnerships and pipelines so that we can take our clients' materials and all of the projects that we're working on and putting them on a path to success. And that's really my responsibility. And I'm excited and I'm thrilled about that. So I've met a lot of people here tonight, and it's inspired me to keep going. I'm so excited to see the creativity and the enthusiasm and the trust. You know, today, in the sessions, I was pushing people to open up and, you know, tell me, what are you thinking? What's your project? Where are you at? Where are you going? And you guys really started to open up and really trust us. And that's when the magic's gonna start happening. So I really appreciate that. And I gotta say, it was also a pleasure working with my colleagues, John, and I don't know if Bonnie and Daniel are still here. There's Daniel. But it's been a great ride today. Yeah. And I hope that you guys are starting to see those possibilities open up for you, because that's what it's all about, making possibilities happen for everybody. So, so thank you all. Great to meet you all. Thank you, Matt.